the iPhone 6. Now, a couple people suggested to do this phone in 2025. Still usable. I did the iPhone SE first gen last time. Now we're going to go to the iPhone 6. I had so many memories with the iPhone 6, and man, we're going to find out how this thing runs. Let's first unbox it. You can see this box here. We got these flowers. We got iPhone 6, 32 gigabyte iPhone 6. And of course, it's a thick box, unlike Apple nowadays with their little thin boxes. Let's open this guy up. There's the iPhone 6 laying on top there. Let's go ahead and take that out, put that to the side. And I don't have any of the other stuff, but remember, guys, when the iPhones used to come with the ear pods, those were the days. And a 5-watt charger. Alright, so the iPhone 6. This phone had a lot of controversy. Mainly was its thing called Bendgate. Now, Bendgate was where the phone bent, and it was mostly the 6S Plus, or the 6 Plus, but it was sometimes the 6. They made the phone so thin that it bent. And they used this cheaper aluminum. So this is grade 1 aluminum. With the iPhone 6S and above, they used grade 2 aluminum. So it was a lot more durable. But this is, you could just feel it. You know, it's a thinner aluminum. Still very premium, but thinner aluminum. And you can see I just have like a dent here. Yeah, it's a cheap aluminum. So, or it's a thin aluminum. But that's how they made this phone so thin. Another thing was touch disease. These are prone to having touch disease where the screen basically touches itself. It touches things on the screen. And I had an iPhone 6 with touch disease. I ended up smashing it because there's no real way. I think you have to get a whole new screen or something. This one doesn't have it, thankfully. Doesn't have Bendgate or touch disease. So let's set her up. There's the Apple logo. This has, you know, your standard 4.7 inch 750 by 1334 screen. LCD, obviously. This phone came out in 2014. It has one 8-megapixel camera on the back. That's without OIS. And it only has 1 gigabyte of RAM with an Apple A8 chip. So it's very old. Only an 1810 milliamp hour battery. And one thing that's terrible about it is it got from iOS 8 to iOS 12, which is only 4 years. That is not a very long life cycle for iPhones. So let's go ahead and set it up here. You can see the infograph. There's our old. This one's iOS 12 here. We're going to see what apps can run on it. So we're going to go English, United States. Now, iOS 11 introduced Quick Start. This is iOS 12, but I remember I got this phone when it was on iOS 11, and I'm like, ooh, Quick Start, and everybody was raving about it, so. Okay, let me connect to my Wi-Fi network and activate my iPhone. On privacy crap. Now, this was the second iPhone with Touch ID. The first one was the iPhone 5S, which we're going to do a video about that also, but this was obviously the first-gen Touch ID, but everybody was raving about this also. It had the push home button there. So, yeah, sure, we'll set it up. Actually, a very strong vibration motor. I remember last time when we did the iPhone SE1, it had a pretty terrible vibration motor. This one, for not having a Taptic engine, pretty good. Taptic engine came out when the 6S came out, I believe. And there is no waterproofing on this phone whatsoever. They didn't seal it up or nothing, so. Let's adjust our grip. See the old iPhone 6 prompts there. Back when times were a little bit simpler. And everything was cheaper. And let's create a passcode. Boom. Of course, you know, your apps and data. We're just going to skip that. And I'm going to go, whoops. I'm going to go ahead and log in with my Apple ID. Terms and conditions. Agree. Setting up Apple ID. Look at how thin this phone. They could actually barely fit the headphone jack in there. Crazy to even see an iPhone with a headphone jack in this like configuration. This is actually a beautiful phone. Like, this phone looks really nice. And it feels really nice. It's like a little pebble, you know. And they weren't charging too much. I believe $400 a pop, or maybe even less. But, you know, they weren't charging much for these devices back in the day. And they are very well designed. And that just shows, you know, how much more Apple charges for phones. How much Apple upsells. Like, I looked it up. An iPhone 16 Pro Max, which they charge about $1,200 for, they make for like $400 or $500. It's like, Apple, you should be charging at least like $800. But let's continue with this. It's probably not going to get any more updates, but whatever. You know what? We don't need this. No way. When did they invent Apple Pay? Because this is crazy. There is no way this thing has Apple Pay. That's actually unbelievable. Okay, we'll set that up later, though. So it looks like iOS 12 came out in 2019, so I bet you not much is going to run on this thing. I'm going to be completely honest. But it does have screen time. Like, it has some of the new features, but there's no dark mode or anything like that. Yeah. This is when, yeah, you could do a display zoom there. Let's just go standard. And there we are. Welcome to iPhone. And there it is. There's iOS 12 here. And you can see half of the apps aren't even downloaded. And one don't even have a logo. You know, everybody's complaining about how bad iOS 11 was. But iOS 12 wasn't that much better. Alright, let's go into settings. And scroll down. And we're going to go to general. And we're going to go to About. And you can see here we're running iOS 12.5.6 on this guy. And iPhone storage, you can see we're running on 32 gigabytes, which the base model was 16, so this is the upgraded model. 32 is pretty low, but not terrible. 16 is unusable, so you can see we have our new control center. This was invented in iOS 11 here, where you can hold or 3D touch, which is not compatible on this phone. We do not have True Tone, no dark mode, just night shift. And that's it. But yeah, it was very cool. Everybody was raving about this, how you can hold down and do that. But there's no 3D touch, and there's not even like a quick, you know how like on the new phones, you have the fake 3D touch where you hold down, and then you have this, and then you go like battery settings or whatever, blur that. But on this, you don't even have that. If I hold down, it just goes to that. If I force pressed, no 3D touch. It just goes to that. So, yeah, no 3D touch on this guy, unfortunately, but they got rid of that anyway. You could see this was the second iOS version, blur that, with the lock screen instead of the like notification center. So yeah, let's install some apps. Wow, that took forever. I don't know what time it was, but it's been like half an hour. That took forever. And it was mostly this app right here, PUBG Mobile. Oh my god, did that take forever. So, there's one app that didn't run, that I didn't install. Amazon. It wouldn't run. So, I'll show you the screenshot now. And I'm telling you, a lot of these apps are the old versions. But, let's find Amazon here. And right here. So yeah, as you can see, requires iOS 15.0 or later. So that kind of sucks. So you can't even buy anything. But we're going to try the web version. But first off, Facebook. You can see Facebook. It's the older version. It required iOS 15.1 to run. But if we go into Facebook here, watch this. Takes a minute to load. But it works. Yeah, it actually works. So this is just my other account here. It works. Let's see if we can watch Reels. You can see there's no natively supported Reels on this version, I don't believe. But it does work. You can see the old volume HUD. And yeah, it does work. So Facebook runs pretty good. Let's go to Instagram here. Let's see. That was the older version that required 15.1 also. So let's see if it works. This is the kind of new version because it says Meta. So maybe there's Reels on this version, and here we are. And there is Reels. I don't have anyone on this Instagram, but it's still loading. Okay, there, it's loaded. So let's see if we can watch Reels. And actually, yes. Now, the phone is very hot, and that's what we've seen on the iPhone SE also. They get very warm. But this one's not as warm. It's about 98 degrees. But as you can see, Reels are actually running really good. Like, this is something you'd see on the newer iPhone SEs. You know, it actually runs way smoother than I thought. This is a very, very enjoyable experience. For a phone with 1 gig of RAM and... what's 6 plus 5? 11 years old? 11 years old! That's crazy. And it runs like butter on Instagram. Okay, TikTok. This is where it's going to struggle. I tried opening it to sign in, and it crashed. So we're going to see if it works this time. This is the latest version. That's why. It's not an older version. For some reason, TikTok lets the latest version run on iOS 12. So, yeah, let's see. This is going to take a long time to load. I'm just telling you right now. So, yeah, bear with me. Okay, we're actually getting somewhere here. Let's see if it's actually going to play a video, though. And I think that's where it's going to stop. Actually loaded up the location. But this is... it's supported, yes. And technically it can run. But there's no way this is going to be enjoyable. You can't even watch this video here. Try scrolling. And yeah, TikTok's unusable, as you can see. None of the videos are loading. Completely unusable. Okay, so TikTok doesn't run. So that's already one out of the books there. Let's try Geometry Dash. So this is an old game, and watch this. Geometry Dash, we had to install an old version because it requires 13 and later. 13.0. So let's try it. Oh, there you go. Try it again. So, there we go. Geometry Dash doesn't work. This is already a million times worse than the iPhone SE first gen. This is still moderately usable. Like, this is running iOS 15, way newer version. And it ran Geometry Dash. It lagged a little bit, but it ran perfectly fine. And it even ran PUBG Mobile, which we're going to try to use that. But it ran all the apps. All the apps were supported. They all ran perfectly fine. So, yeah, this was a lot better. And it has double the RAM. This, on the other hand, can't even load Geometry Dash, which is crazy. So let's try PUBG Mobile. If this runs, I will be so freaking amazed. But I bet you this is going to take forever to load. Let's wait. Okay, so we're actually downloading an update right now. And it's actually loaded faster than I thought. Just a couple minutes, which is long by all means. I mean, your iPhones are faster. But, you know, it wasn't too much slower than the iPhone SE 1. And for the iPhone SE 1 being a lot better of a phone, it's pretty good. So now we have to restart the app. So let's go ahead and do that. And see if it is playable on 1 gig of RAM and an Apple A8 chip. I think we would maybe be able to play. I think it'll crash. That's what I'm thinking. And if it don't crash, it'll be super laggy or overheat till it's dead. So we'll find out. Alright, guys. Let's accept. and let's sign in with this through guest. At least this is a little bit of a bigger screen than the SE. This is the SE2 size screen, or the SE3. And yes, I did shatter my SE2. I'll show you in a minute. I'm recording on it. Oh my god, am I freaking pissed off. So I did order another one. And I don't know when it's supposed to come in. And it hasn't even shipped yet for some reason. But I ordered it. It was pretty cheap. It's the same one as this, SE2 red. Because I want the red one. I can't believe I broke it. But this one's in fine condition, I guess. I don't even know. But yeah, it has 85% battery health. Which this one has 90. So losing that. But really sucks. Okay, it crashed. I didn't even notice. iPhone 6, guys. So far, not great. And I know a lot of people will praise this. Oh, the iPhone 6 is great. No, it just ain't it. I think the 6S is a lot better of a phone. Way more updates. Way faster. Way more RAM. You're getting a little bit of a sealant inside, so you're getting a little bit of water resistance or splash resistance. You know, the Taptic engine, 3D touch, better build quality, better camera, better speed, better everything, basically. So, yeah, the iPhone 6, so far, just ain't it. So, see if we can actually use this. Probably not. I think that's farther than we got. I haven't seen that yet. Huh. Okay. Select your age. Okay. Yes. Yes, let me play, please. Let me freaking play. There we go. Alright, guys, we're loading in a PUBG match. I don't know. I bet you this is the lowest graphics it can get. You know, everything, all of the above, basically. So, she's loading. It can't run PUBG. This phone sucks. I doubt if it's going to run this. Driving school sim. Let's see if this is the full version here. Nope. So it requires iOS 15.0. So this is the old version. So let's see how this runs. I don't know if this is, you know, as graphic intense as the new version, though. So it might be. Oh, 2016. This will run like a charm because it's 2016. Holy crap. Blur that. Holy crap. This is old. Okay. Sure. Barashis. I don't know. Sure. There goes our battery life. I'm sure this will probably run great because it's 2016. There is ads. Let's see how tilt steering works on this guy. Oh, shoot. I have no seatbelt. Can I see inside the vehicle? Look at them graphics, baby. Yeah, for being a 2016 game, it runs perfectly fine. This is 2 years after it came out, so obviously it's going to run perfectly fine. Where am I going? Where are the arrows here? Okay, turn left. Tilt steering works pretty good. I mean, look, I think I'm winning, right? Look at that, 100 XP. Oh, shoot. It runs. That's the only thing that's going to run on this phone. The screen's lifting. This thing have a bloated battery. Right down here, though, not where the battery is. Anyways, next up, YouTube. Now, I've heard a lot of people say YouTube doesn't run, so I doubt if it'll run. You can see it requires at least iOS 16, so that's pretty bad. So, yeah, let's see if it runs. taking an awfully long time to load. And it just says update available. So let's see if we can actually search that one Apple guy. No. So as you can see, it's just going to keep saying error reloading. Let's try to see if we can do this through the Safari browser. Let's go into there. Let's open up a new tab. Let's just try to search youtube.com. Loading up fairly fast. And this looks like it's going to work. Let's try searching that. Okay, first off, the test here. Does this have swipe to type? No. So this is when swipe to type was not introduced. There we are. Let's get us to 200, or no, not 200. I wish. 2,000 subscribers, please. And let's watch the much superior phone here. The iPhone SE first gen. Of course we get an ad first, right out of the gate. Okay. It's loading. And it's working. Okay, let's see what we can bump this up to. It's a 1080p video and 360p. This phone is absolutely terrible and unusable. So if you want to watch a video in 360p, let's see if it runs full screen. There you go. It comes in like shit. But this phone's way better. Yeah, this phone's terrible. The buffer times aren't bad, but that's because it's 360p. Yeah. Not an enjoyable experience. Okay, eBay now. Now, I don't think this is going to run either because it requires at least iOS 17. So this is a way old version. Let's see if it runs. Update required. Yay. Just like everything else on this dumb, stupid, unusable piece of crap phone, it doesn't work. So let's try eBay.com. Because that's all you're going to be doing on this phone is going on websites. Go. Go, 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 go. Okay. Let's try searching. iPhone 6. I don't care if this phone's $10. It's not worth it. Or maybe $10, but... And it's showing me iPhone 15. Great, eBay. $20. That ain't that bad. Load. Ooh, wait, is that a 6S? What? This is a scam. So they show a 6S, then another picture of a 6S, and then another picture of a 6, then they show a 7. Yo, what? What would you be getting there? A 6, a 6S, or a 7? What? Amazon. This is a website again because, yeah, the app wouldn't work. Because the phone's a piece of shit. And Amazon works. Alright. And last but not least, Spotify. Now, Spotify here. Damn, this phone sucks. Requires iOS 16.1 to run. So let's see if it runs on iOS 12. I doubt it. Again, taking an awfully long time to load. This looks promising. Let me sign in. Okay, it is now trying to sign in here. Okay. Perfect. So it's actually working. And it has DJ. That doesn't work. Let's see if I can play a song here. Wow, is it playing? Yeah, it is. I hear it. Okay, it has videos. And it has lyrics. So Spotify works. But that's about it. This phone's not good at all. The only thing you're going to really be doing on it is probably a music player at most. This thing is definitely not worth it. Let's test out this camera. It's 8 megapixels. Let's just take a simple picture of my shattered iPhone SE. And I could show you guys how shattered it is. And the camera's actually pretty good. Yeah, you can see how shattered my iPhone is. It sucks. It went right through screen protector. You can see I have a screen protector on it. Went right through that. So that's great. But overall, the camera ain't bad. So overall, the iPhone 6, not worth it, guys. If you want an iPhone 6 series, get a 6S because it's a lot better. If you want this design, get a 6S because the 6 just ain't worth it. So thank you guys for watching. Comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.